Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's just talk about TV today. I know that all we do on this channel is talk about TV. That is what Binge Watchers is about. But I wanted to maybe do a weekly thing where we just have a discussion about the shows I've been watching and the shows that you've been watching and the reviews that are upcoming. Because it's a weird experience doing this YouTube channel. Binge Watchers is very much something that I do for fun. It's not my full-time job. I have a full-time job outside of Binge Watchers. And it really started from a place where I wanted to kind of feel productive while watching TV shows, because I really love long-form storytelling and TV shows, and I really love making videos. And it's also a big part of, making stuff is also a big part of my job in marketing. But I want to be careful to not be at a place where I feel like I have to watch a show as fast as I can just to get a review out, because I see the reviews on Binge Watchers kind of the same way I would, just talking to a friend about a show. Like, you just watched a show that you're excited about, or, you just watched a show and you want to share your thoughts about it with a friend. That's really how I see the Binge Watchers reviews. And, maybe at some point Binge Watchers will become my job, and that would be amazing. But at least for now, I wanna keep it the way it is. So when 7 Seconds, the latest big Netflix show, came out, I had this weird feeling like I have to watch it the weekend it came out. And it's like this big, heavy drama, really not the type of show that you want to binge watch, or at least not the type of show that I want to binge watch. And I felt like I have to watch it this weekend. And then I had a bit of a moment where it was like, whoa, this is something we do for fun. So that's why I've been watching it at my own pace, and I want to do a more thoughtful review about it, rather than just trying to be the first guy on YouTube to review it. So that's why that review is not out yet. But I have been watching 7 Seconds, and I have been watching season 5 of Vikings with my wife. 7 Seconds, I'm going to do like a big, a full review on it, hopefully this weekend. I was going to do it last weekend, but I'm still watching it. It's a very heavy drama, and it's a very different show than the show I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a show about a shooting, basically, where a white police officer shoots a black teenager, kind of very similar to things that really have happened in the United States. It's really not about that. It touches on that subject a lot. Obviously, that's a big thing. But the show is built on an accident. It's built on a police officer who accidentally hits a black teenager with his car, which at the same time creates a very interesting situation where it's very subject to interpretation, how where people take that incident in their minds, and especially the mistakes that the police makes in handling this situation. So everything that has to do with how the people involved interact with this situation is really incredible in this show. And the performances are really kind of, breathtaking in this show. Especially Regina King, who plays the boy's mother. She is by far the best performer on the show, and she's incredible. Every scene that she is in is absolutely heartbreaking. At the same time, I feel that the show does borrow very heavily from other shows, and it almost feels like an amalgamation of all these other different TV shows. Like, there are aspects from The Shield, and there are aspects from police procedurals, and that part of it is kind of weird. It feels like a little bit like they just took pieces out of different shows, they made it into their own big show, and they tried to kind of make it as heavy as possible. So some of it does feel a little heavy-handed in the way that it's almost like the show's grabbing you and telling you, like, are you sad yet? Do you feel how bad this situation is yet? And it's like, hey, show, don't go out of your way to try and make everybody feel sad. Just tell the story. But these are really just my first impressions. I'm going to give it some more thought and put it in my full review, hopefully this weekend. But overall, it's an incredibly solid drama, and I'm sure I'm going to end up recommending it to everyone. I'm sure the review for it is going to be positive. It's weird talking about my own review as like, oh, I'm sure that guy's going to say something good about it, but I'm sure he will. I will in the future. Anyway, I've also been watching Vikings. I'm sure you can absolutely tell which one of my videos are outlined and which are not. Hint, this one is not. So Vikings is kind of a mixed bag for me at this point. I didn't make a review about season 4, and that was largely because the way they chose to do season 4A and season 4B, which resulted in this big 20 episode season 4, and Vikings is really not the show that needs 20 episode seasons. If you watch season 4, you know that it was a huge season plot-wise, like tons of really important stuff happened in season 4, but for me at least, all of it sort of blends together when there are so many episodes. So it sort of gave it the feeling that instead of focusing on the weight of the most important events, they just kind of threw all they could into this massive, massive season. And then when the mid-season finale came, it didn't feel really like the end of a story and the beginning of a new one. It all just sort of blended together. So I can talk about individual things that happened in season 4 and how I felt about them, but I don't know, it makes it difficult to think about it as the season as a whole, if that makes sense. And I'm very disappointed that with season 5, they're doing the same thing. They're doing season 5A and season 5B. So my wife and I have been watching season 5. We've been enjoying it. It's a really great show. It has really solid characters. The stories are interesting. The sets and the action, all of it is super impressive. It just suffers from the same problems as season 4. It's all over the place. It's very hard to kind of stay with one storyline and kind of understand how it impacts the other ones. I feel that the show is sort of like they're not sure what they want to do at this point, so they do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I think it's still very much the best show of its kind currently on TV. So just to put everything that I'm saying in perspective, I still think it's an incredible show and I love it. It has been going downhill after season 3, I think. But just a little bit. Like if The Walking Dead did this, then Vikings, it's a steadier decline. And I know that it follows the Ragnar Lothbrok saga pretty faithfully. So if you've kind of read those stories, you know what is going to happen and they follow it pretty closely. But from a storytelling perspective, I think there's an aspect to it that the same thing keeps happening, like the way that people backstab each other and the way that people betray each other is getting like a little repetitive. But what really salvages this show for me is just the incredible characters. I mean, the sons of Ragnar, each and every one of them is just such a unique character. There is one little thing that bothers me about them, but in order to go into that, I have to go into spoilers. So I'll probably make like a season 4 and season 5 spoiler talk video where I'll go into it a bit more. But they have like the Sons of Ragnar, they have like personality switches like from episode to episode sometimes that kind of bothered me, but I'll talk more about that in like a full review. So to really just sum all of that up, Vikings is still an incredible show, and if you liked it so far, I'm sure you'll still find lots of things to enjoy in season 5. I just wish they didn't do the season 5A and season 5B thing, because it introduces something that a show like this doesn't need, which is filler. Like there are filler episodes now in Vikings, which wasn't the case in seasons 1, 2, and 3, I think, if I remember correctly. But if they're preparing for a battle, if it used to be, you know, we have like half an episode where they're like strategizing and talking about it, and then the second half of the episode would just be, you know, going into that battle and the battle getting resolved and things kind of moving along. The light I have here just died. I'll take it as a sign that I need to shut up. But what I was saying is that if things used to move relatively quick, now they'll take a full episode of just talking and strategizing and kind of really stretching everything out, and then another full episode for the battle, which, you know, like it's cool, but it gets a little repetitive, and then another full episode of the aftermath of the battle. So something that used to be 1 episode is now 3 episodes, and it feels that is really just for the justification of the A and B parts of the season. So not the worst thing in the world, because, you know, more Vikings, more of a great show. I'll take it. I'll take it over lots of other shows that are out there. But I wish they would have condensed it a bit more. There are a ton of more shows on my list that I want to get to and that I plan to get to after I'm done with 7 Seconds. I'll put some of them in the comments down below, but also let me know, what have you been watching this week? What do you plan on watching next week? And yeah, just what are your thoughts about the current shows that you've been watching, or are there any other shows that you'd like me to talk about? Let me know. I'm gonna skip the outro this time because I feel like I'm just sitting here in the dark. So I'm just gonna say that if you're talking about spoilers, please use spoiler tags in your comments. And yeah, keep binging, and I'll see you next time.